What's up everyone, Craig in here. I'm going to bring you a video today and I'm going to do something that I've never done before, and I am going to attempt to review a movie for you. It's a movie that I was looking forward to for a very long time, actually since the first second I saw the trailer. I'm fucking there is what I said. So I'm going to give you my opinion on a movie by the name of Super 8, which came out this weekend. In this review, I'm not going to give you all too much in the story, at least anything beyond what you can tell in the trailer. And that's just because it adds a lot to the movie. One of my favorite things going into this is you didn't really have an expectation. There's a lot of information, at least by the actors and stuff like that, that they signed non-disclosure agreements on where they can't talk about any of this shit. And they just wanted to leave this mystery element. And it was a gamble, I think, at least by them, to not reveal all this shit. But it just paid off so much better after seeing the movie, and I was very happy that they left out a lot of information in the trailers and stuff. So, my review on Super 8. Let me tell you some of the things I liked and maybe some of the things I did not like about the movie. As I said, I went into this with very high expectations. It's by J.J. Abrams and Steven Spielberg. Spielberg, I don't even have to fucking talk about because he has more movies in my top 10 list than I even care to fucking mention. J.J. Abrams, mainly know him for Cloverfield. I loved Cloverfield, and a lot of people I know hated it, but I loved it. So I had very high expectations for this movie, and let's talk about if those were met or not met. First and foremost, at least in the story, your main character, Kyle, well, it's a kid, but another reason why I wanted to see it was an actor by the name of Kyle Chandler. I grew up watching him. He was on a show on CBS called Early Edition, and I absolutely love the show. So growing up with him and now seeing him in a starring role, especially in a J.J. Abrams Spielberg movie, was pretty badass. And that also set the expectations very high. The story that you have is a kid, and the kid just lost his mom. The kid's father is Kyle Chandler. He is a local police officer in a town called Lillian, Ohio, which is not real. It's actually filmed in Weirton, West Virginia, which is about 20 minutes down the road from me. So I now have a reason to go to Weirton and see some of the shit where they filmed it at. The kid and Kyle Chandler, well, the kid lost his mom. I won't go into that. You find out exactly how that happened and why it happened and things like that. And that was an important part of the story. And while I'm on the subject, that's one thing I want to talk about in this movie is one thing that they do is they give you, they don't drown you in characters, but by the end of the movie you actually care for them and you feel for them and you give a shit about the story. And a lot of movies you see nowadays don't do that, but this one here, they did a great job with the story. All the actors, especially there's a lot of kids in this movie, and they all just fucking meshed. I'm amazed seeing young actors sometimes, how they can be, you know, early teens, sometimes as young as 11 years old. Especially, one example I want to bring up is Kick-Ass. That girl was so young, but she was such a fucking badass actor. When I was that age, I don't know if I, was able to pull off something, but a lot of these kids now, especially in this movie, like I said, there's a lot of kids, they just, you wouldn't believe their age by the way that they act. They're just very mature and see the goal, and they fucking ultimately meet that goal. So you have characters that you really give a shit about by the end of the movie. This kid that lost his mom, he's in a real fucked up state of mind. He lost a very important family member at a very young age. And he's got his father, but the father has mentally checked out. He's in his own little world, feels horrible about it, doesn't exactly know how to give his kid what the kid needs. And you've seen stories and stuff like this before, but like I said, they worked it perfectly. It was great. Well, these kids, or this young kid, he's got a group of friends in this small town. And one of the friends is real big into filmmaking, and he is making this movie for this amateur film contest, and all the friends are involved. It's a zombie movie, and at the time it takes place in the 70s, hence the reason for the name. They used Super 8 film, which was relatively cheap, at least at the time, for people to make their own movies, and then you'd have to go and get it actually processed like you would on pictures and stuff like that. And this is a relatively cheap way for the time for people to do that. Unlike now, where I'm recording this on something digital, where all I do is press a button and then upload it to YouTube. So it took a lot more work back in the day, editing and shit like that. Nothing like you see today. So the film really starts to take place when they're at this train station. They're filming this pivotal role in this young kid zombie movie that they're making. While they're at the train station filming this role, they see filming this scene. They see this truck come. Truck drives onto the train tracks as a train is coming by, and the truck pretty much derails the train. It is one of the craziest fucking scenes I've ever seen in a movie. That train derailment scene. It was unreal. Especially if you have the opportunity to go see this movie in IMAX, do it, because it was blistering loud. And that was one of my favorite parts in the movie, was that train derailment scene. Now, from this point, I'm not going to really go too much in the story. That's because, like I said, the trailer does not give you too much information to go on. It was a gamble, but I promise you by the end of the movie it pays off, and you'll be glad that you didn't have any real idea exactly where the movie's going after that train derailment scene. From that, some of the reviews and things, I've seen mainly positive reviews, at least for this movie, and some of the reviews have been saying that this movie has been done before. There's things about it. I can't agree with those people. I thought everything about this movie was pretty authentic. If I was to classify this movie, I would say it's a very good mix of Cloverfield and Jurassic Park. If that sounds like something that would be up your alley, you're in good shape. This had a lot of shit happens right then, freaks you out moments, sort of, I guess you could say, like Paranormal Activity. And I really like stuff like that. Some of the people would call it a cheap way of getting of getting thrills and stuff like that, but I fucking love scenes like that where shit happens. So rather than ramble on about this, let's just go into it. I love this movie. I thought it was phenomenal and definitely one of the top 10 movies I've ever seen. I would go as far as saying that if I was to judge this on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 10 for sure. So many things about this movie worked, and I'm sure it had a lot to do with the fact that I saw it in IMAX. The quality was amazing on it. The sound was probably the loudest I've ever heard a movie, and it couldn't have been better for this. All the actors, like I said, by the end of the movie, you really give a shit about them. And a movie isn't too long, but it just works. So I highly recommend this movie. If you guys are going out this weekend looking for something, go see Super 8. Badass movie. And if you do go see it, make sure to leave a comment here and let me know what you thought of it. If you did see it, please don't post any spoilers or anything down below. That is appreciated. One thing that you're not exactly sure in the trailer, if there's a monster in the movie or something that's terrorizing people. Yes, there is. There's definitely a monster. It's quite a badass monster. But that's really all I'm going to say about it, because that mystery element that they really took a gamble on and not giving you too much pays off by the end of the movie. So I definitely recommend it. Let me know what you guys think about it. Much appreciated for you watching this video. Now we'll catch you guys tomorrow, alright? Later.